All YouTube content creators come with an intro video. Here goes mine, and I know that I am about 70 days late. Already, there are about a dozen videos of mine up there in YouTube. My intro pitch talks about the rich associations that I've been lucky enough to gain over the last 16 years. There are some relationships that define your destiny, that refines your personality, that helps you to look beyond your confines. For me, that relationship is with Dr. Balavi Balachandran. As a mentor, as a guide, I know him for 16 long years. I've closely worked with him for over a decade now. Sometimes you get lucky in life. Being constantly mentored by someone of his stature, a man decorated by the Government of India by a Padma Shri, a man who has been advisor to several governments, someone who has invested half a century in academics. Dr. Bala brings to every conversation a condensed version of this richness, this wisdom. The best part of what I like about him, particularly his decision making, is his rich blend of rational and emotional. Most men of his stature would bring a mere rationality to the table. Being emotional is often considered a weakness. Not for Dr. Bala, who is an ultimate combination of both, like an aging classic drink mixed with a bubbling, sparkling soda. Someday, I too aspire to be accepted for the same combination, a rich cake embellished with a mosaic of velvety toppings. It was Dr. Bala who put me to Amma. Under his directions, I went and spent 4 years at Amrita School of Business from 2006 to 2010. Great campus, regenerating atmosphere. I spent 4 glorious years within the halo of Saint Mata Amritanandamayi. Lack of bias, lack of prejudice, suppression of ego, these are qualities that cannot be imbibed overnight. Amma helped me in shaping myself into a far better human being. Associations with souls like Amma is not transactional and does not end with a stint at Amrita School of Business. I knew her only from 2006, but she would know me through eons. Amma is not a mere torch bearer. She is the torch. She is not one who shows you the light. She is the light itself. The last autograph that I remember collecting was in the mid-1980s. The match was in India-Australia ODI, the very first one in Trivandrum. Rain spoiled the match but did not dampen a Kapil Dev from giving his autograph. Those were not yet camera days. Decades later, with childish glee, I collected my only autograph of this millennium from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Few men in public life have touched the consciousness of this nation like Dr. Kalam. I still remember his speech on that day. A leader should have a vision and a passion to take that vision to completion without fear. So, your 2020 is now almost passé. We will now take God for 2030. I had the privilege of meeting the man who scripted marketing itself, Dr. Phil Kotler. Not once, but twice. Dr. Kotler, as the story goes, has studied under 3 economics Nobel laureates, Paul Samuelson, Robert Solow, and Milton Friedman. Marketers like us are simply lucky that despite his grounding in economics, he chose marketing as his raison d'etre. When textbooks are prescribed in campus, there is a regular question to faculty: which book this year, sir? For marketing, this question takes a small twist. Marketing Management by Phil Kotler Which edition, sir? There is no author choice. Hats off, sir, for keeping pace with a subject that keeps evolving every other week. One of the most revered names in branding in this country is Arumukham Mahendran, more popularly known as Goodnight Mahendran. My first brush with him was in the Godrej Sarali office in 2004. The school was just starting its marketing campaign and Mahendran was in our board. I popped into his office room and asked him two questions, in retrospect, fairly silly questions. Question number one, how do I go to Pune, sir? Question number two, where do I stay after I come back, sir? I was just learning the ropes. But Mahendran's answers were, take my car. Stay in my guest house, it's in Powai. There started a long association with someone whom I consider to be a genius in branding. Mahendran has given thousands of Indians a good night's sleep for decades. It's a pleasure knowing you all these years, sir. Me and Chris Gopalakrishnan are cousins. Fourth generation, if you may. Did I know it? Of course. I did know it much before he took over the mantle of CEO of Infosys. But did he know it? Well, I told him during the lunch that we hosted in the school in his honor. This photograph was taken on that day. Head of industry apex bodies like CII, philanthropist, consultant to various government initiatives, Chris Gopalakrishnan was decorated with the Padma Bhushan by the Government of India about a decade back. The conversational ease that he brought to the lunch table that day, the wide sweep of topics that he could cover within 20 odd minutes, I was amazed. One day, I aspired to be a free-flowing communicator like him. I have traveled extensively all over the world, particularly to the Far East, but my two trips to Indonesia were acts of providence. Somewhere in 2013, I got an email from a university called Bina Dharma, located at a place called Palembang, which later rose to global reckoning after Asian Games was held there in 2018. I accepted the invite, and on the eve of the conference, there was a public reception to felicitate international speakers, which means me, by none other than the then Governor of South Sumatra, His Excellency Alex Norden. The memento that I got on that day still occupies pride of place in my office. I again visited Palembang in 2017, a year before the Asian Games. The climate, the cuisine of Indonesia is remarkably similar to that of South India, particularly Kerala. I'd love to visit Indonesia again. Many professions consider infusing of humor as trivialization of value delivery. Doctors, for example, think so. Hence, even for a common cold, the prescription is offered in a funereal tone. Some professors also think so. I do not. So, it is more than a coincidence that I run into the best of comedians who rule the South Indian silver screen. I met Suraj Venyaramode in Mumbai airport. Suraj had absolutely no hesitation in posing for a photograph, and remember, he had already won his national award at that point of time. I chanced upon Vivek in my chartered accountant's office, a legend whom the government has decorated with a Padma Shri. Both the actors have done over 200 films, Suraj in Malayalam and Vivek in Tamil. I come to the customary academics slide. I am a triple postgraduate in technology, management and energy management, and I went on to do my PhD, which is in the cusp of technology and management. Studying, like teaching, has always been a passion and will continue to be. I wrap up this small video by introducing the most important associate in my ecosystem, the student. My understanding of them in a decade and a half long exposure to education is, you don't need to fight their battles for them. They'll figure it out themselves. You only need to be with them. Incidentally, intelligent parenting is also along similar lines, though many parents are yet to figure this one out. Hope you like this introduction. I am soon going to start a new series titled Conversations. The first episode will be aired soon, hopefully in September. Till then, keep liking, keep commenting, and keep subscribing to your favorite channel. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.